guys, today we're doing our next installment of a easy dinner recipe or easy dinner meal, quick easy recipe, whatever you want to call it. Tonight we are doing Italian chicken with Brussels sprouts and brown rice. Now, if you're interested in seeing how I make this, just keep on watching. So I have gotten out my pan and my basic ingredients, so I'm going to walk you through all of those. All right, so I have right here chicken breasts. Now these are chicken breasts that we have taken actually one chicken breast and just split it like hamburger wise, goodness gracious, to create two smaller chunks so there's a little better portion control. Then in here we have some meal prep chopped onions that I'm going to use. We have a whole thing of brown rice. I have just straight up zesty Italian dressing. Any sort of Italian dressing will work. I have a little bit of wild mushroom and sage olive oil from Saratoga Olive Oil to saute my rice in. And then I have meal prepped Brussels sprouts. I have a pair of kitchen shears. In this container I have, oh goodness gracious, I have some pepper, even though it says hot curry, it's not, it's pepper. And then over here I have my pan, which is just a very shallow Dutch oven type pan. It's the cast iron with the ceramic, which I love because we are going to be baking this in the oven. And the only ingredient I did forget, shh, don't tell anyone, is garlic. Now I know everyone's gonna be like, you should buy fresh garlic, you should buy fresh garlic. You know what? I probably should. But sometimes I don't want to have to peel it. I don't want to have to deal with it. And there's so many tips and tricks on peeling garlic, I know, but I don't want to deal with it 90% of the time. So Tim and I just buy this minced garlic. It still gives the garlicky flavor just as much. And guess what? It's a whole lot quicker. So, those are the ingredients. Now I will kind of base my measurements off of how everything looks. This is kind of one of those dishes that you can just throw together as long as you have the basic items. And yeah, let's get started. All right guys, so one of the first things I'm gonna do is decide how much rice I'm going to make. And I was thinking about it, and Tim and I love this dish with leftovers. Like, it's one of the best leftovers ever. Just gets better as it sits. So I'm going to make extra rice. So typically we'd make 1 cup of dry rice, which is equivalent to about 2 1/4 cups of dry rice, which is perfect for Tim and I to have a little bit of leftovers. But what I'm gonna do today is 1.5 cups of dry rice, which is gonna mean we need 3 cups of water. So I'm going to get all of that together now. So I have gone and measured out my rice and my water, and I have them sitting on the counter, and I'll show you that. So I have a 1/2 cup and 1 cup measuring cup filled with brown rice. I have my 3 cups of water here. Now, we're gonna have Brussels sprouts with this meal, and because we're having Brussels sprouts, I did add a little extra water to this. So it's about 3 1/8 cups of water to help cook the rice and to help cook the Brussels sprouts. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna get some of this olive oil into our pan. So I've added all of that. That's about 2.5 tablespoons. And once this gets hot, we're actually going to add some onions. We're going to add probably 1/3 to 1/2 cup. All right, guys, so I can smell the mushroom and the sage in this oil, so I'm going to add some onions. Probably, you know, I'm just going to do the rest of it. Looks like that's almost 1 cup actually, but you know what? Tim and I like things oniony, so that's no problem. So I just stirred these up. I'm going to let them saute until they're just about translucent. Then I'm going to hit them with some garlic, salt, and pepper. And then I've decided that I'm going to add a little bit of white wine to kind of deglaze the pan as the side, if you will. And once I add that and that cooks out, I'm gonna add my rice and start toasting it a little bit. All right, guys, so I've let these guys cook. They're starting to char a little bit, as you can see there, but they're also starting to get a little translucent. So I'm now going to add my rice, which I have right here. And now I'm just gently cooking this rice, kind of toasting it off. In the next probably 2 minutes, I will be adding some garlic and some white wine. So like I said, I'm just gonna let this continue to cook a little bit. Really what I'm doing right now is I'm toasting the rice, trying to get a little more flavor in it, so it's not just boring brown rice. And you can toast rice like this. You can also do this with farro, quinoa. It's really good with quinoa. You can do any sort of like white rice or anything like that. I find the nuttier the rice to begin with, like brown rice or wild rice, the more browning it actually accentuates the flavor, and toasting it really brings out that flavor. So now that it looks like this, my edges of my rice are starting to get a little bit opaque. I am going to add in my garlic. So I have my minced garlic here with a spoon. I'm adding about probably a tablespoon. Actually, no, let's add a little bit more. It's that much more. All right, so now I'm going to stir this up. So I can already smell that garlic. It smells so good. And you can really start picking up the nuttiness from the rice right now, which I'm really excited about. I think. So I am going to add some truffle sea salt from Saratoga olive oil. Just going to kind of shake it in a little bit there. Now I am salting it pretty heavily in the beginning, so the salt really can cook in and really meld with the rest of the flavors. Plus I'll be adding chicken and Brussels sprouts to this, so it can take that salt. Now I'm going to add some crushed black pepper. Nice heaping of that. And now I'm going to add some Brussels sprouts. We really packed those in there. Again, I'm just going to stir the Brussels sprouts with the rice. Not really looking to combine them or anything like that. I'm just trying to make sure everything's gently mixed. I don't need to meld flavors at this point, and I don't need to cook those Brussels sprouts like this. So now that they're all mixed in there, we're going to add our water. Gently stir. And now we're going to put a lid on it. And we're going to let it cook for about 15 minutes. Now, I'm letting it cook for 15 minutes because I do want to par cook those Brussels sprouts and that rice. I am, after those 15 minutes, going to add my chicken with the Italian dressing. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven at 400 degrees. And I do have my oven preheating as we speak. So while that's doing that, I'm just going to tidy up my counter and get rid of the things that I no longer need. And yeah, we'll come back after 15 minutes. Hey guys, so it's been 15 minutes. You can see my pot's is steaming. I take the lid off, stir it up, sorry if the camera gets all foggy. So we're going to drop the heat down. And the next thing we're going to do is get our chicken in with the Italian dressing. Alright guys, so I added my 2 chicken breast halves. And I added basically, you know, 2/3, 3/4 of Italian dressing to it. I did add a little bit more chicken stock just to make sure the rice had enough moisture. And now we're going to put a lid on it. And I am going to put it in our 400-degree oven, which you can see is preset right there. And we're going to let it cook for about 20 minutes, then we're going to stir it. So the 20 minutes has passed, and I have pulled the dish out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. You can see that there. So I took a little bite. The rice is almost cooked. It would need probably another like 5 minutes. And the chicken is cooked through as well, but it's still obviously very white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it back in the oven for about 5 to 7 minutes, but I'm going to keep the lid off and hoping that it'll help the chicken brown a little bit and absorb a little more of that moisture, and he'll cook that rice up. Alright guys, so the timer went off, and take a look. Doesn't it look delicious? Oh, I'm so excited. Alright, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to test the rice, and yeah, hold on. Alright guys, so I just tried it, and Tim just tried it because he got home, and the rice is perfectly cooked. So yeah, we're going to serve it up, and that really didn't take a lot of my attention. This was a recipe that I pulled out all my ingredients. You know, I had olive oil, rice, onions, garlic, salt, pepper, water, white wine, chicken and Italian dressing. Sounds like a lot, but it really wasn't. As you saw, I started sauteing with the olive oil, the onions, little salt, pepper, and the rice. And then I added my garlic and white wine. Let that cook for a few minutes. So I was out here for maybe 10 minutes doing all that. And that includes getting out all those ingredients. And then once I added the Brussels sprouts in the first round of water and I let it cook, I could step away. That's perfect time for someone to help their kids with homework, unpack groceries, do some dishes, start a little laundry, vacuum, you know, do whatever you have to do at the end of a long day. Then you come back out, you stir it, you add a little more liquid if needed, and you pop it in an oven, and then you set a timer and walk away. Again, super easy. It is blowing like crazy outside. That wind, goodness. But again, it's an easy dinner option. This is also something you could do in a crock pot. In the morning, you could put all the stuff in, or even the night before, put all the ingredients into a crock pot, except for maybe minus the wine. I may not do that just because it won't develop flavor the way it normally would. Pop it in the fridge, and in the morning, put it in your crock pot and let it go. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or anything, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time.